Okay, so I'm now going to go over the Reaper, which is our newest product, basically who it's for, what it does, what you can expect from it. So the Reaper basically is our newest evolution in terms of bot network technology, uses multiple different triggers that work together synergistically so that no matter what the market throws at it, the Reaper is ready to attack with high frequency, high win rate, high probability setups. It's a fully auto plug and play, sort of like Ripper 1, but the next level of evolution. So it takes the Ripper 1 platform and fundamentally changes everything, pushes it to the next level. But it's along this same style of bot, whereas basically it's designed to run fully passively once you turn it on. The Reaper has a very slow kind of sniper-like approach and also has a more rapid fire. So you can run the bot very conservatively, take very accurate slower moving trades and run multiple instruments and kind of mitigate risk that way. Or you can just turn on one instrument, let it go on the open, take a bunch of high probability trades. Once your profit target is hit, turn the bot off. So it can be ran sort of like the Ripper 1, very conservatively, very passively and defensively minded, or like Ripper X on the open and just attack for quick profits and turn it off. So it does a very good job of basically playing both sides. You can run something all day on multiple instruments with one set of configuration. You can run, the fast entry, which will take a lot of rapid fire triggers. So again, to reiterate, it's an all-around, well-rounded plug-and-play bot. Works for small accounts, big accounts, just like Ripper 1, but ultimately more powerful. So again, this bot typically is used to generate large profits quickly. It's usually true with bigger size, but it's still viable on smaller accounts. So basically, the Reaper right now is the ultimate in TruTrade's technology in terms of running fully auto plug and play. So it's viable across the board, stocks, futures, Forex, doesn't matter what you want to do. There's going to be a lot of different configurations in terms of the ways to run it. So the bot's highly versatile. So Ripper 1 is a little bit simpler in terms of how to use it, but the Reaper is ultimately far more powerful and far more versatile in what it offers. Okay, I'm now going to cover the properties panel for the TruTrade Reaper. So first we have authentication. This is where you put in your license key. Next we have the PIN number for further verification. Okay, next we have the HTF brick size. So this is the higher time frame brick size you're using to filter your main time frame triggers. Again, if this is on. Next, we have the thresholds. It's the same as like the bar size. For example, we have the Ninjarinko 12.3 here. So if you're going to run the HTF size, you typically run like a 24.6. So generally, it's double or triple the main chart's brick size. This will turn the HTF filter on or off. So if you want to use it, just check it off here. If using the HTF filter will make the bot more accurate in terms of and make it trade less frequently. So kind of slows down the fire a little bit and it will increase the accuracy. But you don't always want to do that. It just depends. If you're going to run the bot passively and be away from the screen, the HTF filter is great. If you want to run it more actively on the open, let's say for example, turn the HTF filter off, can generate more money more quickly because due to the higher trade frequency. Okay, next we have the entry 1 quantity, self-explanatory, goes right here. If you want to trade a 4 lot, just put in a 4 here. Okay, next we have entry 2. So entry 2 is optional. If entry 2 is on, you can set the quantity here right below the check switch here. Next we have fast entry. So this is important. So the fast entry, if this is off, it uses the slower, more accurate, more defensive trigger by default. But if fast entry is on, it will change modes and trade much more actively. Sometimes the accuracy is slightly lower, sometimes it's higher. Doesn't really matter. Basically, ultimately, if you want to generate a lot of money quickly and you want to trade one instrument or more, just on the open or during high volatility periods, a fast entry is very, very good. If you want to run the bot all day long, you want to run it passively, typically you'd have the fast entry off and just have it run just the main, more calculated entry. Okay, next we have max entries per momentum cycle. So again, what this basically does is each side of the trend. So let's say, for example, you have a 2 in here. It will take the first 2 triggers in the direction of the prevailing trend, and then it will stop swinging at that particular trend. So if you want to, so this basically is the level of aggression you want to run the bot with. Kind of look at it like a volume knob. So 1 here, it's going to be very conservative, take a very safe shot. Typically, I would have it at 2 or 3. Beyond that, if let's say for example you have like a 6, 7, 8 phase trend, if you have this set to 10, it's gonna attack all of those that are high probability shots. So obviously, the later you go in the trend cycle, the more high risk the trades become. It doesn't mean that they won't work, but they become higher risk shots. So typically, the lower the number here, the more conservative the bot. If you want to be the most conservative possible, just put a 1 here. bot will trade less, but typically be a bit more accurate. So that's what you want. Obviously, with the HTF filter on, fast entry off, and max entry per millicycle to 1, this is the most conservative, surefire way of running the bot. So one of the things to understand about the Reaper is that it's incredibly versatile. So we talked about that kind of briefly in the intro, but there's a lot of different ways you can run this bot. So it's important to play around with the settings for the first week when you get it and figure out exactly how you want to run it. Okay, so next we have the trailing stop. So if this is on, it will turn off entry 2. So basically, it will just take a single entry with whatever the quantity is for entry 1, and then it will trail that by X ticks beyond the previous bar's low. So say, for example, you're in a long trade, every time a new up bar occurs, it will trail that bar by X ticks. So whatever, that's what the buffer is. So if buffer is 1, it will trail 1 tick behind each subsequent up bar in a long trade or above each down bar in a shorter trade. Okay, next we have the entry 1 target ticks, again, self-explanatory. So the entry 1 target ticks go in here. Typically it's equal to 1 bar size. So you're running a 20 tick bar, you have a 20 here, or in this case a 12. You just run a 12 tick. So typically the ideal recommended starting point is 1 bar size. You can run it tighter or wider, that's up to you. Entry 1 target, so you can turn entry 1 target off if you're just using entry 1, but if entry 2 is on, then you have to have a target 1. So we'll just automatically use target 1. Okay, target 2 is going to be optional. Obviously, if you have entry 2 on, target 2 can be left off. If target 2 is left off when entry 2 is on, it will just hold the entry 2, which is the runner, until the color changes against the trade. So basically, there's a bit more room, but it will still exit when momentum shifts. Okay, next is initial stop ticks. It's typically set to 2.5 times the bar size, just so that it's beyond the previous swing high, swing low. Although that's not always a requirement. If you want to run the bot, with a half bar stop or a quarter bar or one times bar length, you can do these things. Just keep in mind that you always experiment on the sim before you run these. And again, after you purchase the bot, we're going to have a PDF file with a list of recommended settings for all instruments, stops, targets. Everything's all going to be in there. Recommended bar size, times data trade. So we're going to give you recommended settings for all these, for all the main instruments. But that being said, you can still play around with it and create your own configurations. That's the nice thing about TruTrade is that everything we sell is both turnkey, plug and play off the shelf. You don't have to be a good trader. You don't have to do your own homework. You don't have to figure out what works. We tell you what's good. We use the bots ourselves. But that being said, if you want to play around with it, we're not going to stop you. So if you're an experienced trader and you have some ideas and you want to manipulate the parameters, we allow you to do that. Just keep in mind that you always sim first before you run things live. Okay, so next we have the break even plus X stop. This is the same as the other Ripper bots, where essentially, if you're familiar with the Ripper X or Auto Ripper, etc., this same stop is in here. So if this is on, when target 1 is hit, it will lock in X ticks of profit on entry to the runner and let that go until its target is hit or until the wrinkle bars reverse color. Okay, next we have DRAM. Again, this is common for the Ripper series. So what DRAM basically stands for is Dynamic Risk Adjustment Module. And essentially how it works is if you're in a winning trade or you're in a trade, right, and the trade reverses before it's a target and it does a stop and reverse, it will then add extra contracts to the subsequent trade to recoup that loss quickly and then get right back in profitability. So this is an optional, and again, DRAM can engage even without stop and reverse. So let's say you're in a trade, and this bot doesn't have that feature with its main entry, but let's say, for example, that you're in a trade and it takes a loss, whether it's stop and reverse or the actual stop is hit. It will then add this number of contracts to entry 1 and entry 2, again, if enabled. And DRAM can be controlled. Entry 1, entry 2 have optional switches. You can run it on just the first entry or the second. Typically, we advise you run it on both, like you'll see here, if you're going to run it. So basically what this does is allow, because it's very infrequent that the bot's going to have multiple losing trades, right? It's a high probability setup by design. So again, if you have a losing trade, you can get that money right back with the DRAM. But again, you can run it without DRAM. So it just depends, how you want to run the bot, conservatively or aggressively. There's no right or wrong answer here. Typically, we use the DRAM on because we run it with very good settings, and so the law of averages is more on your side if you run DRAM and you run good settings. But if you're trading multiple different instruments, like say for example the NQES, CLGC, BTC, 6E, 6J, a basket of nearly correlated instruments, you can kind of get away without DRAM because the spreading the risk around makes up for that. But if you're trading just one instrument, it's almost always better to have DRAM on. But again, do whatever you want here. Okay, so next we have DTRAM. So DTRAM stands for Dynamic Target risk assessment module, which means that if the bot has a losing trade, it will actually contract the target on the subsequent trade, so making it easier to hit. So let's say, for example, your target was 20 ticks, you have a losing trade, and DRAM kicks in, it adds extra contracts, and then it tightens the target. So even through random walk alone, it has a higher probability of hitting the target. So what this basically does, when these are used together, they're quite powerful, so that if volatility slows down a little bit and the bot's taking trades, it's able to get out of a consolidation and still make money and get you out of trouble. So again, these are optional features, but very powerful, particularly when used together. DTRAM requires a little bit more experience than DRAM. So, and again, there's recommendations in the settings when you purchase the bot in the training videos. Okay, next we have risk management settings. So these are the P&L kill switches. This is pretty self-explanatory. Again, all of our bots have this in terms of the bot's max P&L. So if this is on, let's say for example you have a kill switch profit, a kill switch max drawdown. So let's say your target for the day is 2,000, and your max from you're willing to risk in the drawdown is 500. So if the bot goes up 2,000, down 500, this is realized P&L. It will self-terminate, stop trading until you manually re-engage the bot. Next, we have the account max P&L. So this one does the same thing, but for the account the bot is linked to, not the bot's own intrinsic P&L. So let's say, for example, the account P&L, if the bot's the only thing running on the account, they're going to be more or less the same thing, except the account P&L will count unrealized profit, whereas the bot P&L will only count realized profit. So that's the only distinction. Let's say, for example, that the bot that this bot is linked to, whatever account's linked to, is up 5,000, but the bot's only up 1,000. Let's say some other bots are up, right? So if the account's at 5,000 or down 1,000, again, cumulative P&L, that's count both realized and unrealized. The bot will turn off, self-terminate, stop trading. So you can manage risk on a bot by bot or instrument by instrument basis and by an account basis. Let's say you're running multiple instruments and the cumulative P&L of all these instruments, realized and unrealized, equals 5K. They will all turn off together if they're all running on separate charts with the account P&L enabled. Okay, next we have prop guard. So prop guard is one of our new features where essentially a lot of people that run prop accounts, whatever, they want to make sure that the orders are canceled or that kind of thing. So the prop guard will allow you to do that. It sends in cancellation requests for any lingering orders that get stuck in from different data feeds. That doesn't really happen very often, but occasionally it can happen, particularly we've heard with Apex or other prop accounts. So basically, it's pretty simple. Turn it on if you want to use it, although it's not really required, generally speaking. So use P&L on the plot on the chart, the next field we have here. So what this does right here is basically plot the P&L in the bottom right corner, and this is the font size for the P&L. Next, we have the time filter. So this right here will basically allows you to set a time window for the bot to run. So say, for example, you're on the East Coast and you want the bot to run at 9:30 Eastern to 10:30, which you see here. So if this was on and set to these settings, the bot will turn on the cash open the first hour, trade for an hour, and regardless of what the P&L is, it will stop taking new trades outside of that window. So let's say you're in a trade, you're going to trade at, let's say 10:25, and it's still going past 10:30. Once the time window elapses, it will not automatically dump the position. It will allow it to organically unwind and then just stop taking trades. So this basically is an entry filter, not an exit filter. So let's say, for example, you want the bot to trade 24/7. Basically, leave it like this, full glowback session. If you want to limit it, let's say to an afternoon hour, let's say, for example, 2 p.m., just be 1400, so 14:00:00. So 2 to 4 p.m., which would be 14 to, or just say 2 to 4:30, be 16:30:00. So what you have here is hour, minute, second. So you can get all the way down to the second if you want to. And keep in mind that it's a 24-hour clock, so more like military time. And it's going to use the clock on your Windows PC. So if you have an AM hour, there's no zero in front of it. If you have a PM hour or after 10 a.m., then it's going to be a double digit here. So 10 a.m. would be 10, 2 p.m. would be 1400, and then let's say, for example, 10 p.m. would be 2200. So basically, it's all in there. You can figure out. Just remember that it's not using the exchange time or your template time on the chart. It's using the time on your Windows PC. So just keep that in mind. Okay, next we have the input series. This is just going to default to the chart series. And this is the account the bot's running on. So it can run on a SIM, you can run on a real money account, whatever you want. And as always, anything below the calculate tab, or actually below the account tab, don't touch any of these things. Leave it on the default settings because you can cause issues with the bot. So again, leave these, anything below account, do not touch any of this stuff. Okay, that's it. Next, we're going to talk about We're going to show some historical fills, show you what you can expect with the bot, a typical trading session. Okay, so now I'm going to go over some fills from today. So you can see how the bot operates, what you can expect. So on the chart here, you see the NQ with the 12 tick bars, and this is the REAPER standard entry. So this is the more selective entry. It goes for big swings, very accurate, and you can run it basically all day as a plug and play. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up on the chart so you can see the fills running the double entry. I'm going to go ahead and use the drawing tools and pull up the range value so you can see what these trade slices are worth. So that's about 245, 250 there. Let's check out a few other ones. So again, same thing here. So basically about 250 per swing per contract here. So as you can see on this chart, I'm going to draw a couple more. I'll get into it. So again, it's some smaller profits here. About half that, 125. And again, this is per contract. So if you're trading a 10 lot here, so again, about 250. So essentially right here, we have about $1,000 worth of profit. And the total time here is about 11:30 to about 11:50. So about 20 minutes, made about $1,000 per contract. So on a 20 lot, that's 20,000, 10 lots, 10,000, 5 lot, 5,000. So you can see that even with smaller accounts, like right here, this is just a one lot, right? If you just run a one lot with a single target, this is two here. So you're actually taking a partial profit, about 100 and then about 250 on the second entry, the runner. So, and again, we have both targets on right here. And you can run the target off and let the bot just exit the runner right here on the color change. But we know the ranges pretty well, so we have the bot's pretty dialed in. But essentially, we give you the settings when you buy the bot. So as you can see here, basically, bot's highly accurate, works exceptionally well. It does a very good job of staying out of consolidation. So look here, it's actually not trading during this little snippet, right? It's very choppy, not much to be made here. The bot's not even trading. Right here, it takes this one trade here. That's kind of starting to consolidate. But you can see that as soon as it pulls out, it takes another big swing right there. So again, bot's very selective, does a very good job of taking the significant swings and then avoiding the swings that are not very profitable, as you can see here. So it's a good job of mitigating chop, takes the big swings out of the market. Excellent bot. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a section of trading for the REAPER fast entry. So this one's more rapid fire, still highly accurate. It's going to go after a bit more activity than the standard entry. So essentially, you have two different options here. So if you want to run something very passive, you want the bot run all day, you don't want to monitor it at all, and you want it to be as defensive as possible, just run the standard entry. If you want to trade multiple instruments, you want to make money faster, you want to attack volatility on the open, definitely run the fast entry. So you can play around with both. They're both very powerful. And again, this is my favorite overall bot that TruTrade sells. It's extremely powerful, but also it's very versatile, and that's the key thing. So this bot basically has the same advantages you have with REAPER X, where it's rapid fire. It's very effective at getting trend directional volatility, but it also has the power of REAPER 1, whereas you can run it very selectively, run it in the background. It does not require you to monitor or require any maintenance. This bot doesn't even have a chart trader. It's completely hands-free, but it has a slow, steady hands-free method and a very aggressive rapid-fire hands-free method. And if you have the HDF filter on, it will only take trades on the main chart in the direction of the higher time frames momentum. So essentially double stack momentum. So you're trading a ripple in the direction of the wave. It's extremely powerful. So again, the bot can be ran in a lot of different ways. It's the most powerful, but also the most versatile product TruTrade sells, and again, my personal favorite. I use it every day. Okay, so you'll see here, same thing. This is the fast entry, 3 bars, taking multiple trades. Again, we'll go to range value. 1 second here. So drawing tools, range value. Go ahead and pull it up. And again, 250. So these are all 250 swings here with our configuration. This is about 150 on the initial target. So if you're just running a single contract, the most conservative possible way, this trade took less than a minute. We have another one over here. Go to drawing tools, range value, same thing. So we got about $200, 16 seconds. So literally this thing made about $500 in a total of about a minute's time span. If you run, that's per contract. So if you're running a 10 lot, you literally could have made close to $5,000 in just these two swings right here, right? So again, just to summarize, this bot has a lot of different modes because you have the regular entry and the fast entry. You can lay the higher time frame filter on top of both of these, right? You also have the number of entries per momentum cycle. So if that's set to a 1, it'll basically take the first one of these trades after the direction. So it'll take this trade and this trade. Set to 2, it'll take this one, this one, this one, this one. If you take other trades, like for example, we'll go down here, it catches a trend. This is entry momentum entry 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you have the interest momentum cycle set to a higher number, like right now I have it on 99, it's going to fire at everything, right? So this is the most aggressive way to run the bot. You can see when the volatility is high, that's a very good setting to have. I mean, it's just printing money right here. Okay, we'll go back to range value. It's just you can see what these little swings are worth and how fast they occur. Again, these are small bars. They print very quickly. If you were to attempt to trade this by hand on these 12 tick bars, typically you run anywhere from 12 tick to 40 tick. So again, markets move very quickly. Wrinkle bars print very quickly. And even though the machine can catch this, our bots get fills in milliseconds. They're able to catch these kinds of swings, but by hand, you're never going to catch this. You try to get filled by hand, you're going to click here, you're going to get filled down here, you're going to get X trade somewhere up in here. So you're only going to capture this. This will capture 80% of the swing, whereas by hand, you're maybe going to get 50% if you're lucky and you're quick enough, right? So you're going to pay a lot more commissions and a lot more slippage, even attempting this by hand. Not only that, with the Reaper, you can trade 15 instruments at once, multiple entries. So it really is a true bot network. What we mean by that is the ability to run multiple systems with multiple instruments, and they have a synergy in a communication. So the bot is very, very powerful. It can trade one instrument, or it can trade 20, trade stocks, futures, forex, all of the above. Obviously, we do most of our trading on futures because that's where the money is. Highest leverage, lowest taxes. So futures obviously are where it's at. But if you're in a situation where you have a lot of money to put to work and you want to diversify and you want to trade equities or forex, go ahead and do so. Or if you have accounts that don't allow derivatives trading, obviously the stock version works very well. So any of the liquid mega caps are going to work phenomenally well here. So there's that. Basically, that's about it. So bottom line, call your sales rep. This is a phenomenal product, brand new, excellent. And again, it's the next evolution in terms of our plug-and-play technology. REAPER 1 is a phenomenal product. This is even better. It's even more versatile. And it's particularly for trading big accounts. If you trade large size, you definitely need to get the Reaper. You can get it, obviously you can run it on smaller accounts, but you really want to trade. This bot is very, very powerful and extremely effective when trading, when putting together or putting to work large amounts of money. So keep that in mind. Again, viable with singles instruments, small accounts, but ideal for bigger traders. If you trade, quarter mil plus or any of the bigger accounts, whether it's your money or prop accounts, you definitely need to get this bot. Okay, call your sales rep. That's about it for now, and we'll see you soon.